Alright, so as you can see, we have got the main part of the crane all working. And I have actually I've spent a little bit of time on just doing a test, basically. So it's just a piston and a rotor on the end, on the bottom of it. And I've been messing around with some scripts, which I'll show you in a second. However, what it allows me to basically do this is move right and move left, and move forward, move backwards, and also rotate the part, and also lift the part and lower the part, or, you know, whatever I'm moving at the time. I can also drop it, and I can also go into the first-person camera mode, where I can attach to it, maybe, there we go, lift it up, you can see we can rotate it, not zoom out like that, and I can, you know, go diagonally. It's not the fastest, but it doesn't need to be. It's it can pick up heavy items, and I can adjust all these speeds. It's not too difficult. But this should work. It's a little bit unstable, which if you look at the top cart, you can see. I think that's purely just because, yeah. I've been informed that maybe it needs to be a little bit heavier. That way it doesn't get quite as much shakage, because I guess, yeah, anything I pick up at the bottom is going to act like a big lever in terms of weight. So, what I need to do... right, so what I'm going to do now is actually show you... Let's try that one again. I was going to show you how the scripts work, how the pistons work. You see they go up and they go down. Now, so we've got two programmable blocks. The first program, if I was to edit this, so we're using the piston, rotor, and hinge controller. Basically, it converts these into WS and D movements. So you'll see I'm using rotor plus AD and rotor plus WS for AD and WS. I am not using any of the other controls. And then on the second one, I'm using rotor negative AD and rotor negative WS, and then I'm also using rotor Q and E and piston up and down. And that's in the equivalent spots, basically. So if I was to look at all of the things, you'll be able to see I have got the rotor positive and the AD positive and negative, and the WS positive and negative. And what basically that is, I'll show you. It is this side, these ones, so this rotor here, this one here, these two on this side, and the four on the closer side to me are the positive ones, and these four and the far four are the negative ones. Because obviously, when this is moving in a positive direction, it's going to move forward. If this was moving in a positive direction, it'd be moving backwards. So when this moves forward, we want this to move backwards. Now, I don't know if that script can do multiple things and do them in opposite directions. I don't think it can, so that's why I'm using two, and that basically means that when I hit the W key or the S key, these ones go forward, and these ones go forward, or they go backwards and they go backwards. Don't know if that makes sense, but that's the idea. Right. I've also spent a bit of time on just getting the rover all charged up. It's been charging up for a little bit now, so it should be all good. Yep, looks good to me. Good. I might as well, when the battery gets charged on that, I like us to charge all my vehicles up. That way, I at least know that it's all good. But what I need, or what I want to get done now, is the top half of this, which I'll do in a little bit later. What I actually want to get done first is the piston section, because I feel like that's going to be, well, that's going to be the most interesting one. I don't necessarily have to use a piston. You know, pistons are probably the most stable, because I can just go, you know, lower up and down. But I could also go with different designs. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Guess they just don't work anymore. That's good. Right. Yeah, it's not broken. Cool. Gonna work out how this is gonna work, and I'll be back in a second. Gonna do some experimenting and get this dismantled. All right. So I think the plan is going to be try and get this cart stable. Because at the moment it can sway from side to side, which you can't really see here. But if I give it a bit of a wiggle, you see it a little bit. It's got a little bit of a wiggly time. It's also getting caught. Is that better? What's going on? Is there braking torque on one of these? Definitely getting a little stuck. It might just be the difference of not enough weight though on the bottom of it. Okay, so what I want to do is I think I want to just get a clean arm. No. I think I want to do something like that on the bottom and create like a basically the opposite of what I've done here. Maybe. Yeah, we'll go with that and we'll see how that goes. Basically just doubling up what I've done on the bottom part of it. Such a bodge job to make it work, but it will work. Right. Also, I've just realised they shouldn't be those ones really. They shouldn't be full blocks. They should be the beams. They should be these. That's fine. Is actually it's fine. Not ideal, but it'll work. Right, need more steel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of this bit welded and working how I want it to sit. And then I will come back and we'll work out the actual piston bit. Because this whole thing will probably go a little bit above this next sort of level here. Because it will, you know, this will be the roof, so it'll go up. And what I may have to do is have like more pistons high up, which then lowers down to sort of into this hole bit, or which will have a final piston. And that way it just sort of is as stable as it can be. The other option is you make this thing just wider, which we can easily do. There's no reason it has to be exactly this width. If I make it a little bit wider, I can basically fit 4 pistons down, which will make the whole thing more stable. Yeah, I might do that. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a little bit.
My parents made, I'm never moving on. Not made from love, a remnant of a selfish motive. Was I needed? Do I need it to go wrong? Polarized, inherent pain, pumping through my veins. Eyes in flames, call my name. I freeze, I burn, I blame. I love, I hate the safe I embrace inside of me. I only fuel the fire. But is it wrong for me to fight against the balance of my power? History in halves, one brain. I will break the chain. Oh no, toko ni wa yoku. Moeru rame koru to boku no ai to kirai ni iru. Oh no, toko ni wa yoku. Moeru rame koru to boku no ai to kirai ni iru. I love, I hate the same.
Alright, so I haven't actually made much progress on the top part, as you can see. And that's because I'm not happy with that gantry system. It looks cool, but it's not as functional as I want it to be. So I ended up messing around with the piston side of it. And yeah, I always get... Some people always ask me how I manage to work complex contraptions out. And I'm not gonna lie, half it's by doing this. Literally just staring at the thing I'm trying to build. And half the time, I'll end up working out the sequence that it requires. But yeah, usually it takes a little bit of time. So what I'm trying to do is make a walking mechanism which can work in both ways. So from here, what I think I need to do is when that reaches its lowest point, I want that to attach and that one to detach, and vice versa, because it'll go bob. So you'll see here it'll go lock, lock, unlock, and then that would push that, which would push it back, and it would keep going back. Yes, I think That seems right. And this, I'm just messing around on the ground. I might not use merge blocks here. I might use like hinges and then attach some hinge heads to the top of, or somewhere along there, and that's what it attaches to. I'm not saying that it's definitely going to use that, but it might do. So let's see if I can get this to work. Let's toggle them off for now. So what I want to do is I guess it will depend on which way I'm wanting it to go. So if I want it to go forward, then I would want this one to be locked, because it would then pull that back and extend that out, and it would then go in that direction. However, if I wanted it to go backwards or this direction, I'd want that one to be locked, because then it would push that whilst retracting that, so it would start the sequence in that direction. I just can't currently figure out in my head how to do that system where, depending on a button press. So what I want is a system which can work. So I press a button and it will switch between what is attached by default, and all this automatic system does is extend the pistons and switch between the two mag plates. So one locks, the other unlocks, and then the other locks and the other unlocks. And I've got one way which can do it, but it's a little janky. I think it would also involve 4 event controls instead of 2. Right, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this, because as you can see, I've spent the majority of the day working this thing out. I shall be back momentarily once I have worked out the sequence for this, and then once I've got this worked, I can integrate it into the actual Gantry system properly. Right, okay. Okay, update time. So the sun is now very much setting, and I have managed to get it into this state. Now don't expect too much, because it's not very good still. Why can't I move? There you go. Let's do that. And if I lock this one here. So I built a WASD converter. So if I was to press this, you'll see it moves. If this is me holding A, you'll see it moves, and if I let go, it stops. I do it again, it breaks. And if I do it again, it now goes the other way. This is me holding D. If I stop, now I'm holding A, and you can see it's still going in that direction. And back in the S. So yeah, I don't quite understand it. I'm gonna spend a bit more time messing around with it, but what I think I may have to do is have 2 sets of events, so 4 event controls in total. And yeah, I think what I'll need is 4 event controllers. 2 for one piston and 2 for the other. And then I'll have to set up the actual... If I hold, you know, A, then the left side of it, so 2 event controls on the side control the pistons, and it's set in a sequence that it will go left. Or if I press D, then the other 2 event controllers would be working, but that would be the pistons working, but have the switch locks in the alternative direction to cause it to go in the other direction. I don't know if that makes sense in the slightest. Right, I'm going to do some more work. Alright, so it's definitely nighttime now, as you can see. This design is progressively getting more and more complicated, and I still haven't found a good way of actually getting it to work reliably yet. So I think I'm going to put this design on hold for now, work on a different design for this system. So we've tried pistons, we've tried rotors, now what I want to actually try is wheels and suspension, like the wheels on suspension. See if I can sort of up the friction, and maybe I can even use the suspension to lock it in a bit better. So I'm going to spend a bit of time to try and get that to work. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I've made a little bit of progress again, as you can see. I've been messing around with different types of carts on wheels, and I've added a seat here. As you can see, it is off, this particular design is off the ground. Well, it's not fully on the bit. And I don't quite know why it's not rolling nicely, because all of the rotors and stuff are all off. Providing no torque or, you know, anything like that. The wheels on here just, yeah, don't seem to like to move. I can up the offset just a little bit. Like, it's just... just gets stuck, and I don't know why. There's nothing on here that these should get stuck on. No. Because, like, it's not getting stuck on these, I don't think. I'm just going to remove them just in case that was actually somehow the reason, even though the hitbox is nowhere near it. Is there anything on that side? Nope. Oh my god, it kind of is. Why? But yeah, this thing is really janky. Ow, my ankles. So, that is now, I guess, technically this is the third design. We've had the one which we've got up currently, which uses rotors. We've got this one which uses pistons, but tries to like crawl along. Can't get that to fully work in just the programming of it. This one just doesn't seem to like to work in general due to God knows what. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna now try and build a fully piston based one. And if I can't get that to work, then I don't really know. Right, okay. Let's try and get the piston one to work. The only downside about that one is I'm going to have pistons in almost both directions, because I'm going to need pistons to counteract the length of the pistons that I'm going to need to get from one side to another. Right, okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting one. Let's crack on with this one. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, so I've been experimenting a little bit with a piston-based design. And you'll see on the hotbar I've got 4 different buttons. We've got one which controls movement in one direction and reverses it back. And the other which moves it in the other direction and moves it back. Now, you may think, oh, that's a perfect design, that'll work. Yeah, until you realise if I want to be all the way over at this side, which you can do, look how far that bit sticks out. Sticks out so far. And I can't do that on this side because I ain't got enough space. Also, if I activated the other side now, it would go into the middle and break. Or I can push them both in and it won't move in any direction. It's kind of weird. And I don't think it'll work. What I ideally need to do is have the pistons at one side, which push all the way along, and then you have ones all the way back to that end point, so then it can push all the way that way, or it can go all the way that way, and it will work. The only problem with that is it is weird to do, and it will take basically basically 10 pistons to do the extension. Plus you would need another couple for the max length of those ones whilst they're sticking out. So when it can retrieve. Yeah, it would just be annoying. But there's not an easy way to do it whilst confining it into that space. It's why a wheeled system is so much better. I just can't get any of the wheeled systems to work on small grid. I should have made this like a large grid system and then put just this part here on a small grid. It would have made my life so much easier. But no, I thought, let's build the whole thing out of small grid. It would be fun, they said. Right, okay. Honestly, I don't know. Also, my forward and backward is no longer working on this design either, which is great. Yeah, this whole Gantry system is, I think, becoming a bit of a lost cause. I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have just built a simple crane. No signal over there. Right. I don't know. There was a lot of things I probably should have done differently, and I'm starting to learn from them. I think a design like this will work better on a larger scale. But I think like this is a bit weird. What do I get? Absolutely nothing. That's just mean. Ooh, coffee. Cool. Yeah. I probably should have just built a more sort of basic, even something like a tower crane rather than a gantry system. But I thought it would be fun. What I probably should have done is actually kept the rails on the top and not done this groove system, and then have it as a large grid thing which drives forward and backwards, and then it would mean it would just be a large grid shape up there, and then you'd have small grid that runs on that large grid. That way everything would have moved smoothly. Okay. Well, you can't win them all. You definitely can't win them all.
Low health.
I've kind of been defeated on this one. I'm not gonna lie. Right, I'm gonna have some time off from this design for now, I think, because I'm struggling with it, and I think over the next couple of days I should be working on something a little bit different. I think that's what I'll need to do, just to get my mind thinking about something different. I can work on this in my sort of own time, and I can get it working how I want it to work. Right, okay. Right. I'll speak to you guys in a little bit. Have a good one.